Welcome back to Scotty's Hobbies. The other day when I posted the video about speaking with the EPA administrator, representative, that is, not administrator, he mentioned that they were coming up with new regulations on DEF. I didn't realize they were going to come out so darn fast, but today Zeldin was at the Iowa State Fair and started mentioning that they have found a fix to this DEF issue, mainly the issue of the D rate of when your DEF runs out or when you have a DEF failure or like a check engine light for your DEF. You go down to 5 miles an hour, you can't drive your car, you run into problems where you're stuck on the road causing issues that could harm your health, that could get yourself hurt, and it's just a pain in the butt to get everything fixed because you could only drive 5 miles an hour. Well, in this video, I'm going to go over the new regulations that the EPA released today that Zeldin talked about at the Iowa State Fair. Before we go too far, please hit that like button, subscribe, share, check out the video library for a ton of automotive helpful DIY videos and emissions deregulations videos. All right. Zeldin today at the Iowa State Fair did an interview with the SBA Small Business Administrator. What was her name? I forgot it. Kelly Loeffler. Going over that they have released new regulations for vehicles or diesel engines that have DEF. These regulations are for cars, heavy-duty vehicles, agriculture vehicles, everything. In this video, I'm going to go over what the difference is, what the new regulations are, and show you what the new D rate is actually going to be. First off, let's see what Zeldin said in that interview. Let's get a couple little clips of it right here.
Maria, as I travel the country, I've been hearing from truck drivers and farmers complaining about DEF, asking, demanding, pleading for a fix. What happened about a decade and a half ago in putting this new DEF system into place, the diesel exhaust fluid system to combat nitrous oxide, is that in order to create an inducement, in order to get people to comply, there'd be this massive deratement in the engine. So all of a sudden, whether it is because you don't have fluid in or just the system's not working, within 4 hours, your vehicle, your engine's now going down to 5 miles per hour. So think heavy-duty trucks, off-road equipment, motor coaches, heavy-duty pickups. They out of nowhere.
Okay, so what he mainly speaks about in this interview is issues with the D rate, how people run into getting down to a 5 mile an hour max when you have either a low DEF fluid sensor or just a malfunction with the DEF system. Now, this new regulation is going to fix all of that. Kinda. Make sure to pay attention, and we're going to go over everything right now. First off, if you go over to the EPA website, EPA.gov. This one is at Iowa State Fair. EPA Administrator Zeldin announces diesel exhaust fluid DEF fix. This was published today on August 12th. It lets you know a little bit of the rundown, what he speaks about in Des Moines. I'm not sure how you say it. Just letting you know, it's just everything that he spoke about. If you go down a little bit further, starting with model year 2027, EPA requirements state that all new diesel on-road trucks must be engineered to avoid sudden and severe power loss after running out of DEF. To fix this problem for vehicles already in use, EPA's new guidance, developed in collaboration with manufacturers, will work to ensure that the necessary software changes can be made on existing fleet. I'm going to go down a little bit more background. When DEF runs out or a system sensor fails, current systems can force a vehicle to drastically reduce speed or become inoperable. In many cases, vehicles are limited to as little as 5 miles per hour within 4 hours of DEF-related faults, causing significant disruptions to logistics, agriculture, and construction. Before we go too far on to what the new regulations are going to be, let's flip on over to the next EPA website. This EPA website is diesel exhaust fluid. Again, it was updated today. This is going to let you know what components you're going to need on your diesel vehicle and what's going to happen. So scroll down. It says, what does EPA require for vehicles? EPA requires vehicles using DEF to meet specific emission standards, particularly for NOx. These requirements include, so this is what your vehicle has to have on it. Let's see if we could do diesel deletes. Emissions limit requirements. Vehicles must effectively meet EPA Tier 2, Tier 4, or 2010 emission standards, depending on the vehicle type and model year. Onboard diagnostics. Vehicles must have OBD to monitor the SCR system to detect low DEF levels, system failures, and alert the driver via a warning light. Okay? Tamper prevention system. This is let's see if we can delete. The system must be designed to prevent tampering or bypassing DEF usage. That one makes me afraid that we can't do DEF deletes or start your diesel deletes. By law, EPA cannot mandate field fixes for in-use vehicles and non-road equipment, which is why the agency is issuing voluntary guidance to manufacturers on system modifications to reduce D rates. All right, so it looks like DEF systems is not going away, even on the older vehicles. What could manufacturers be doing to alleviate these issues? EPA is urging engines and equipment manufacturers to follow EPA's direction and provide software updates for diesel trucks and equipment meeting these new guidelines. So the older vehicles, they're going to need a system update to be able to meet these new guidelines. Now, what are the new requirements or changes if you still need DEF on your vehicle, if you're still going to use DEF fluid? Well, let's go back over to the original EPA website from the announcement that Lee Zeldin made today. If you scroll down on this page, there is a bunch of different charts. This is going to cover everything from motor coaches to RVs, stuff like that, HD trucks, which is big rigs, your HD pickups and light duty cars. So that's your regular vehicles on the road, your Dodge 2500, 3500, Chevy Silverados, F250s, 350s, and then also non-road engines are on here as well. So let's go ahead and start with the motor coaches. These are RVs, stuff like that. You can see before, after 4 hours of having a DEF issue, you were subject to driving 5 miles an hour. That was the big issue. Now, after 3,000 miles or 40 hours of having your DEF issue, you're going to be subject to a 10% torque reduction. After 10,500 miles or 200 hours, you're going to be subject to driving your vehicle no more than 50 miles an hour. So that's on your motor coaches. Next, HD trucks. So this is your big rigs, service vehicles, buses, just your larger vehicles. Initially, after 650 miles or 100 hours, your vehicle is going to be subject to a 15% torque reduction. After 4,200 miles or 80 hours, you're going to be subject to a 30% torque reduction. And then finally, after 8,400 miles or 160 hours, you're going to be subject to a 25 mile an hour max speed. So this will give you the opportunity to get to a shop, to get the repairs done without being stuck on the highway, needing a tow. Might even give you a chance to drop off your load and then get to a repair facility if need be, or if can be, really. Next, HD pickups, light duty cars, so Silverados, Dodge, Fords, cars, all that good stuff. Initially and secondary, there is no rules for those, but after 4,200 miles or 80 hours of driving, or maybe it's 80 hours of just the engine being on, you're going to be subject to driving your vehicle 45 miles per hour. So you're going to have a big window to be able to go get your vehicle fixed rather than being stuck to the 4 hours or after 4 hours, 5 miles an hour and no more than that. They're giving you a way bigger chance or window to get your vehicles actually fixed so you're not stranded, stuck on the side of the road, incurring tow fees, any extra fees, and just taking the chance of getting hit on the road. That's one of the worst things about this. Last, non-road engines, so agriculture type stuff and gen sets, that type of stuff. Initially, after 36 hours, you're going to be subject to a 25% torque reduction. And then after 100 hours, you're going to be subject to a 50% torque reduction. Now, there is a couple caveats to this. The one with a single star, so that's going to be the initial. Non-road consistent speed engines and gen sets do not have an initial inducement step, as any torque reduction may limit product functionality. So with that one, it's only going to go to the final step of at 100 hours, you're going to be subject to a 50% torque reduction. Now, Non-road equipment can be restarted with full power 3 times for up to 30 minutes after inducement. Inducement. Again, this was published on today, August 12th. These are the new regulations that are going to be happening on the newer vehicles, and your older vehicles are going to be subject to a software update to get to these regulations on your vehicle. So to get the software update, you're going to need to contact your dealer and have them do the necessary steps or repairs or update to be able to meet these new regulations so you don't get stuck on the side of the road like you currently can. Do it. Get it done. Don't delete your stuff though. That's not legal yet. Wait until anything is written down, the ink is dried, for you to start taking stuff off your vehicle, because as it sits right now, it's still illegal to take off anything emissions component wise on your vehicle. Of course, some states out there don't check it, but if you're in a state that's subject to emissions inspection, or if your vehicle is subject to emissions inspection, you might be very weary about doing any type of modification to your vehicle at this time. Now, I really hope all this information helps you out. If you know anybody that has a diesel, agriculture, takes care of diesels, any of that, please send them to this video. And if I missed anything, comment below and let me know what I missed. If you want to talk crap, please comment below. I'll talk crap all day. I love it. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys stopping by to stay high and even taking the time to watch my videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the video library. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next hopefully helpful video.